there was a heron up in Beaverton, Ontario, which is a neat spot. I got to spend some time. I worked with a man who made paper for Greenpeace, and my job was to crush walnut hulls for the pigment. Jesus. I mean, his job was harder because he had to pull, if you've ever made paper, it's backbreaking. A lot of cotton linkers, but we made all kinds of paper, and my job was to try to pulverize this damn walnut to get a color. So I drove my car over it, I hit it with hammers, I did everything I could think of. I got enough pigment out of it to actually tint the paper slightly off-white, and we put that in the mix and pulled paper. And then my next job, after he would couch them, which is to take the paper off the screen and you couch it on a turtleback, and it transfers the pulp to a blanket. And you put another blanket on top of it, and pull another piece of paper, and then couch it. And so that after a while it dries, and he had rigged up a car jack to squeeze the water out up against the beams of the barn ceiling. It was really a neat procedure. So you would turn this car jack, which would squeeze the water out, and after appropriate time you would be able to peel the paper off the blanket and then hang it on the wall to, or hang it on clothespins to dry. It wasn't calendared, which is the trick they use with most paper is to run it through hot rollers to smooth the surface. I know some old letterpress printers took some of this man's paper, and there were stones in it, walnut hulls. It would tend to crack your type, which they considered to be more important than the impression that they were making. But Greenpeace took them, and they were really happy. They were really big sheets of paper.
Wow.
That was a wonderful thing to work on. But Tom waits at the Parkview. I don't know if you've ever been down to the Parkview.
No.
You should do that too.
Okay.
There's a couple institutions left in town. It's at 58th, right at the end, just before the lake kicks in. And Westinghouse used to be down there. But it's a neat old bar, and you can sit there and be left alone. I'd curl up in the booth and read Yevtushenko, and people would wave at me while they were going up.
I remember when they had this
I remember that.
They
surprised me.
It would have been when you were a kid, because it was when I was a kid. And they had this sign where this bottle of milk poured into a glass, and they kept doing it over and over. And they was a Dairyman's commercial.
In New York, they had the smoke.
And it was like right, you know, on the shore. You're driving along the shoreway, going west.
Yeah. That was good. That was good. I saw a book today at Max Bax. You open it up, and it's lenticular stereo. The first picture is a horse, and the cover is hinged to pulling these lenticular stereo pictures across from each other. The effect being it makes it move. It's really uncanny. It took me a long time to figure out how it was done. But I'm studying photography and nude down at Cleveland State with a woman, Helen Liggett, really interesting woman. And we're working on My Bridge and Ouija and all the classics. But see this book, I can't remember the name of it, some funny name, but the animation as you open the book is animals moving, because the trick of lenticular stereo that Masumi did a lot of. There was that Ninflow camera, does anybody remember that? The 7-piece stereo. But I'm wondering, some of the images like pouring milk or the smoke ring on Times Square, that technology is, to me, really fascinating. And to work it into a little book that you can take home is even more so. I don't know who can afford to print that shit. But the Parkview, you can look out the window, and as you'll hear, experience something like that. Tom waits at the Parkview. He's to the dark. Betty squints out the bright window on down to the tracks. Gulyas says, "We should get it on. We'd be a good match. She's missing just the teeth I have." Different strokes. And she's as funny as Marie Dressler, who would have been Waite's co-star in his 30s movies. And the piano has been drinking. "I should be on that train," she says. Where to? Anywhere. Chicago, Vegas, and Boxcar Betty. Betty's supposed to work tonight, hurt his neck, jerking his head when a rat hopped up on the windowsill. Fool! What are you writing? A letter to my mother. Where's she at? Dead. She bitches about the sun in her eye and starts in on menopause. I say, you should have been there for mine. She says, then take mine too. If the sun doesn't rise for a few days and the choker disappears, did the shots still pour? And the bar stools are on fire. Tom waits, turns on the piano bench. He lowers the lid, and he walks out toward Lake Erie and the tracks. Betty says, I was on that train once. The place when they had checkered tablecloths looked a lot like a place that Tom Waits would play piano.